This video is sponsored by our good friends at Tidewe. For many great hunting accessories, check them out at tidewe.com.
We're still a good bit from the season, but out here today just kind of looking around. You know, this spot right here is a spot that is a really good example of what I want to talk about in this video. I want to tell you about a tactic that I learned several years ago, probably 20 years ago, that I've used successfully over the years to kill several gobblers that's, quote, hung up. You know, we all have hung up gobblers. We all have them gobblers that just, you know, they're interested, but they just put the brakes on. You know, we all have them. You know, but what makes it even harder is when they're on private land that you can't hunt. Maybe you're on private like we are here, but this is the border, this is the fence line. You can't go over. They got posted signs. You can't go over there legally. You know, or if you're on public land, which I know a lot of you are public land hunters, you know, you're at the border of public and there's private there, and that's where the turkeys are at. Well, that even makes it harder when he's hung up. When he's hung up on a piece of land that you can't go to, it makes it even tougher to get that gobbler. But it can happen more times than not that you can take that gobbler home with you just by, you know, using tactics to get him on your side. Well, I'm going to tell you how I get gobblers from private over to my private or public in order for me to kill him. And so you stay tuned, because that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Times if you had this scenario happen, you're on public land or private, you know, you're on land you can legally hunt, but there's a gobbler or gobblers across the fence where you can't hunt on the neighbors, and he's just gobbling his head off, but you can't go any further. You're right at the fence line. Now, as you can see, we're right here at the fence line. I mean, this is the fence right here. This is it. You can't go past this fence. All right. But turkeys usually every spring are over in here in this jungle. I call it the jungle. Look at this mess. I mean, it is a messed up bunch of stuff. I mean, you can't shoot 15 yards in there. It's so thick, and it's just nasty, and brush all the way to the back of a bluff back there. It is just nasty. But we can't hunt over there either legally. All right, so this is it. Now, I wanted to come to this spot because this is a perfect illustration of a tactic that I used last year, and I've used for about 20 years now, to help me get gobblers off of private that I can't hunt onto ground that I can hunt. So when you have that scenario, and everybody has it every once in a while during turkey season, where you can't go any further, but man, your mouth's watering, you're going, oh my Lord, if I could just get over there, maybe I could sneak over there. Well, you don't want to do that because, you know, it's illegal, but but you're like, man, if I could just get over there, oh, if I could. Well, you can still get these gobblers sometimes off of private onto land you can hunt, whether it's private or public. This works great on public land. For you public land guys, this is an awesome tactic that I've used on public land many times and got gobblers over to me. So I call it pick a spot. You're going to pick a spot where you want this turkey to come out. You know, turkeys have a very keen ear. They know just about exactly where that call's coming from. This is their home. You know, this is their home out here. This is where they live, and they know every holler and they almost know every tree, man. And I mean, it's just like your house. You know everything. If something's misplaced in your house or something's out of place, you automatically know it. What's the same thing with it? They know where stuff's at. So what I do, instead of sitting here, now last year I had 3 gobblers over here, and I was sitting right here, probably about 25-30 yards back there, and these gobblers were over here. And I knew this fence was here and couldn't go any further, but these gobblers was back here in this thick, nasty, messed up jungle, and because I couldn't see them, you know, it's too thick, and plus by springtime you can't see in there, period. But they were just hammering over, you know, just the 3 of them, just gobbling, man. And I'm just thinking, oh, well, you know, they're going to come right through here and come in this little edge of this field, and I'm going to kill them, and man, it's just going to be a great day. But it didn't happen. You know, it didn't happen. They stayed in that jungle mess. You know, they just stayed right there, and they wouldn't move it. All right? So what do? You've been sitting there for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, and they ain't moving. They're just staying there, okay? Now, if you just keep calling to them, they're just going to keep staying there because they're expecting that hen to come to them. All right, that's just common sense, because in nature, the hen always goes to the gobbler. That's what makes turkey hunting such a challenge. So, I had to go back to an old tactic that I've used called pick a spot, and I purposely got up, walked down this little hump, went down in this holler, in this little gully, went down in this gully about 100 yards out there. Why did I do that? Why would I walk away from gobbling turkeys? Because they're going to stay there, right? They're going to stay there. So I walked away from them, and I got down on back, even on back. You know, instead of up next to the fence line, I even got back, almost on this next point. You can't hardly see it, but I almost got on this next point over here in that gully, and I started hammering them. I started throwing the kitchen sink at them once I got about 100 yards on that way. Now, why would I do that? Why would you go from 60 yards all the way back to almost 200 and try to call to them? Because I'm picking a spot. I can't get them here. I've got to get them through this fence, and I've got to get them over here where I can work them. So I go down here, I get to where I can see pretty good, and I just start hammering them, you know. I mean, I'm just hammering these, and they're just gobbling. Answer me back, but they ain't moving. But now they think this hen's gone. They think this hen has left and went on further away from them. But I'm hammering. Hey, I'm interested. Hey, I'm in. But they're gobbling. Hey, come back up here. Come back up here. Come back up here. And now you're way down here, but you're on back further away from this fence. The reason you don't want to be close to the fence and do this is because they may come, say 20, 30 yards on the other side of this fence even. But you still can't legally shoot them, even if you could see through this mess, and you're hunting property where you can't see, you legally still can't shoot them, right? And be right doing it. You got to get them to this side. You got to get them over off of private on the public, or you know, or whatever the scenario you're in. You got to get them over here. But if you go away from the fence, get on back, they can't hang up over here. And if they can't really hang up because they're coming searching for you. So I was over here just hammering, calling, and they started gobbling. But here's the important part of this tactic. This is where patience comes in, and you've got to be patient to use this tactic and be successful at it. Once you get them fired up, and once they know where you're at, and you've walked away from them and you're calling, now you've got to shut up. And I know that's hard for turkey hunters because, man, when they go for 20, 30 minutes and they don't gobble, you got to get that call and you got to see where they're at. You just, you know, that's the worst thing you can do. You got to just shut up and stay quiet and let them come searching for you. Let them come looking for you. I know it's hard. I know the temptation is there to call just to see if he's coming or just to see if they moved up. But I promise you, if he's fired up, you know, he's going to come looking for you eventually. He's going to come looking for you. But it may take him a while. Usually, not always, but usually they'll do what I call a search gobble, where they'll gobble, you know, when they get close enough to where they last, you know, kind of where they heard that hen up here before you move. He might, you know, he might do a search gobble. Once he gets down here, you know, close enough, he thinks that hen's close, he'll do a search gobble. You know, he'll gobble maybe one time. And sometimes you know that he's close. But if he doesn't, you know, you still got to just buckle up and be patient and just sit there and be quiet. Because the moment you start calling, whether it's just light calling or whether it's loud calling, the moment you start calling, he could be still on this side over here, maybe 15, 20 yards, and he won't hang up. He's a hung up gobbler. He's going to, oh, okay, she's close. You don't want that. You want him coming to where he last heard you call 35, 40 minutes before. You want to get to where you can see a pretty good way. You want to get to where you can see, you know, pretty good ways out through the woods, or if it's an open field, you want to get to where you can see, where you can watch him. All right, but once you see this turkey, he usually, you know, they'll usually pop out. Now, in this particular case of last year, when I went down here, and they're over here, it took about 45 minutes, 45 minutes, and right down where I called, right out from here, I seen him. There was three of them. He came right under this fence, came right out in this road, and they walked right up to me. The only problem was I was solo filming that morning, and I had the tripod right beside of me. And the camera saved that gobbler. If I wouldn't have been filming, that gobbler would have been dead. But you know, where I was trying to get it for y'all, I just, you know, there was a little bit of brush right in front of me, and when he went behind, I was trying to move that camera just a little bit, and I thought he was, and you know, and I think he picked me out. He didn't blow out of there. They didn't spook real bad, but you know, he kind of got nervous. It was just a little bit, you know, it was just a little bit out there, pretty good ways, but I'm not going to throw the long shot at him. But if I wouldn't have been filming, you know, I'd probably been setting rock still and not having to fool with nothing, and you know, he probably would have worked on it eventually. I don't know, but I'm just saying. My point is, I got them gobblers off of this jungle, off of this private, where I was at, by moving back, calling, shutting up, and picking that spot. I picked a spot where I wanted them to come out, and right in that area is right where they came out. They know where you're at. They know where that hen is at in these woods. Okay? That's just the tactic you can use when you're faced with that borderline, can't go no further, or they're in a bunch of mess. You know, even on public land, or even on land you can hunt, where you've got a big bunch of jungle and mess, and you know, just a bunch of stuff you can't see, and it's just hard to turkey hunt. But if it opens up on down, hey, this is a good method for that too. Get down there where you can get out of this jungle and see if you can pick a spot and get them out there in the open. Like I said, it's just going to take a while. You got to be patient. You know, overcome that feeling of wanting to call, and let him come and looking for you. It will work for you, and it really helped me when I learned that years ago. It's helped me kill a lot of borderline turkeys that I probably would have never killed if I'd have just stayed where I was at and just kept yelping at them, hoping they'd come to me. Pick a spot and call him to that spot. It'll work for you, I promise. Make sure to subscribe to this video. Just hit that subscribe button down the corner. I'd really appreciate it. Also, check out all the links below. Check out all my social media platforms of Facebook and Instagram. Come and like and follow me there on them platforms. Check out my website, Dell Outdoors. Check out my shirts, my apparel, there on the Dell Outdoor website. Join me on Patreon, where you can actually support Dell Outdoors. If this channel's helped you a lot in your turkey hunting, and you feel like we've, you know, been a blessing to you, if you want to give a small tip of maybe, you know, $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, join me on Patreon and just give us a little tip. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us just to continue bringing quality videos to you every year. Also, check out Tidewe.com, where you can get with all the good folks at Tidewe and get their apparel that we're using, and their turkey vest that we'll be using this spring. We used it last year. It was great turkey vest. We'll be using it this spring, and all their apparel, boots. Just check them out there, Tidewe.com. Check out SpringFeverCustomCalls.com, where you can get my signature series of calls, the old slide box call, the old slide slate call, my old slide mouth call. SpringFeverCustomCalls.com. Great turkey hunting calls that's killed a lot of turkeys for a lot of people. So check them out, SpringFeverCustomCalls.com. And also all the other links below. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned. We got a lot more turkey hunting information just like this coming in the weeks to come. And we'll see you in the next video.